presidential history on the way out. On the way out, you done gave long-range missiles to Ukraine. Like, bro, you're out here pardoning people. Well, honestly, all he pardoned was his son. But everybody's out here saying that, oh, he's gonna pardon Fauci, he's gonna pardon Liz Cheney, and all this good stuff, and he's yet to do it yet. But when he does do it, I'm gonna be real with you. It's probably best that he don't, because it's gonna make Fauci and Cheney look terrible. Because they ain't even been charged of something. They ain't even been charged of nothing. But if you're pardoning them, it kind of makes it feel like you're hiding something.
Because that's what they want to do, Piers. I am anti any soldiers. I know we have almost 1,000 there right now, Piers. I don't want any involvement with the United States. I don't want any of our soldiers to die. And all these people that are pro-war, Piers, how about this? They can't sign any bill. They can't sign any declaration of war unless your children are going there. Okay, unless your kid is over there fighting. Enough with sending Americans' kids there to die for money and for geopolitical purposes.
I mean, Brian, I know a lot of Americans feel that way, and that's one of the reasons Trump got reelected. People do think he's sort of no war, America first, don't get involved in this stuff. It never works, just makes things worse. At the same time, we don't know what kind of leadership we're looking at in Syria now. We don't know if they are genuinely changed leopards or whether the spots remain exactly the same. And if they remain the same, we're dealing with Islamic fundamentalists.
And shout out Zoloff for starting us off. He says illegal guns are bad unless they're hunters' guns. Well, yeah, illegal guns are bad unless they're a hunter gun. Because what is a hunter gonna do? Well, use it on animals. And if you're one of them animals, help protect the animals. Well, I don't know. Would you rather animals or humans? Take your pick. Take your pick. Well, I already know which one you're picking. All right, let's see.
And we know where that can lead. We saw what happened with ISIS. We saw what happened with Al-Qaeda. It seems to me quite a precarious bet that America's making if it decides to, as Trump wants to, just keep out of this completely, that if you allow Al-Qaeda and ISIS and people that align themselves to that very extreme Islamic fundamentalism to grow up again in somewhere like Syria, that is going to...
I'm weak as hell. Hunter's guns. I'm sorry. I missed the joke. My man said illegal guns are bad unless they're hunter's guns. Yeah, well, or I'd say the son of the president's guns. Like, let's go for that one. Yeah, when you're the son of the president, shit, you can get a gun no matter how. You can go ahead and buy it off a guy off the street. You can go ahead and be intoxicated off crack or have felonies and go ahead and buy a gun. But as long as you're the president's son, I mean, you're good, right?
To represent at some stage, there's going to be
I lost that one. That one right over my head.
Against America, who they hate.
Well, I think to some degree also it could be you can make the counter argument that if America intervenes, that will foster the same resentment toward the United States. And so to some degree, look, I think to some degree I do agree with Vinny, probably the only thing that we're going to agree with on this panel. But
that is a true moment.
I would tend to be more isolationist as it relates to issues in the Middle East than not.
Like, my bad, guys. My bad. It's hunting season. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, like I say, I think Vinny's views,
and yeah, I got it, Mr. Doc Hill. Shout out Mr. Doc. He said, I think he was talking about Hunter Biden's guns. Yeah, I know, guys. I went over my head. Go ahead and laugh it up in the chat.
You go back 10 years ago, they might have been a lot more controversial. This seems to me now to be the growing sentiment amongst, I would say, the majority of Americans.
Well, that's because the millennials and the following generations have been living their whole lives under perpetual warfare. So since 9/11, most of my adult life I have spent with the United States in perpetual wars in the Middle East.
Now that I think about it, shit, most of my childhood, yeah, we were in war. Most of my childhood, like, we didn't step out of war probably until I got in high school. That's when we were finally out of it, like in the Obama years. Nope, never mind. After Obama years, so probably now I'm thinking we probably weren't out of war until I was in college.
That nobody understands. They don't really know why we're there. Soldiers who come back can't really illuminate it any better for you. People in command can't really illuminate it any better for you, and the American people are sick of it. Trump, the great populist that he is, recognizes this, and he tapped into that as part of his reelection and his initial election. And I think it's a really good idea for us to draw back from the Middle Eastern affairs as much as possible. It's not good for the Christian population of the United States. We have compatibility issues with both Muslim ethics and with Jewish ethics. So ultimately,
okay, he went there. And make sure y'all like the video, man. We got 100+ y'all in here, so go ahead and double tap that screen from here. Hit the 3 dots up there in the corner, and Andrew Wilson got a point. Yeah, we like Christian values, and I'm not the biggest Christian. I'll be real with y'all, but Christian values, they don't line up well with Muslim values, and they really don't line up well. I mean, with Jewish values. But here's the thing, though. I honestly feel like the Jews can coincide better with Christians, because the Muslims and Jews, I mean, been mortal enemies ever since Israel, in my opinion. Ever since Israel. I feel like if Israel wasn't around, they'd be actually pretty cool. But that's a whole nother conversation.
For us, we need to focus on
or relocated. Let me not say if Israel wasn't around. Let me say if Israel was relocated.
Our domestic policies, and that's what we put Trump in there to do, not to get us involved in foreign affairs.
Yeah, but Julie Rodzinski, it's a massive departure from where America has been for the last 60, 70 years, and really since the end of World War II, to take such an isolationist view. But like I say, I do think it's where the majority of Americans sit now.
Well, it depends on where it ends, right? The Pax Americana has served the world pretty well, as you point out, since 1945. And the reality is, as I said earlier, we are the indispensable nation. And sometimes we don't invite these crises, but these crises come to our shores anyway.
Whoa, sweetheart. What do you mean by the indispensable nation? I mean, okay, I feel you. I feel it when that, like, yeah, we're indispensable. We're pretty damn important, but doesn't mean we need to pull up to everybody's like conflict. That does not mean that. Indispensable, let's go economic wise, we're indispensable. Military wise, we can sit out a couple things. We can sit out.
And so I think we need to be very realistic about the fact that the world is very unsettled. We've got things going on in the Straits of Taiwan right now. We've got things going on in Europe right now with respect to Russia and Ukraine. We have a huge refugee crisis, as you pointed out, from Syria and other places in the Levant that are coming to Europe, to our European allies, including the fact that Donald Trump may or may not want to keep NATO as the force that it's been low all these many decades. And so, look, I tend to agree that we don't need to get involved in another Middle Eastern fight, and we certainly don't need boots on the ground in the Middle East. But I also want people to be realistic and understand that we cannot build a moat politically or militarily around the United States and not expect anybody to have what goes on abroad start to affect us, because I'm old enough to remember 9/11. Of course, it did come to our shores that day. And of course, we did have to go to Afghanistan as a result of that. We stayed way too long. We didn't accomplish the mission. We didn't accomplish anything we set out to do. I completely get the frustration. I was anti-Iraq war from the very beginning. A lot of my friends on the Republican side, as I recall from my days at Fox News, were the biggest cheerleaders for this invasion possible. Now, of course, everybody's kind of changed their mind. But I do want to be realistic, as I keep saying, that we don't know what's going to happen, especially in a place like Syria, which was so reminiscent to me of the Iran-Iraq war in the 1980s, where you didn't really know which side was worse. You didn't know who to root more for. You kind of had to root against both of them. And this is kind of similar to that, right? We've got a butcher in Bashar al-Assad. Nobody's shedding a tear for him being gone. And then we've got this question mark about whether this leopard, as you pointed out, has changed his stripes, whether he's still allied with al-Qaeda in some capacity, and whether they're going to try to build a pluralistic society in Syria, protect their minorities, protect the Alawites, protect, of which Bashar al-Assad is one, protect the Christian community, and see what really happens between the Sunni and the Shia sects there, which also obviously plays out. But this is not a bad day for the United States, because it weakened Iran tremendously. It weakened Putin tremendously. And it helped the Israelis get control of their northern border to some extent by preventing Iran from using Syria as a conduit into Lebanon to help Hezbollah. So I'm not shedding a tear.
And this is the problem with this whole, oh, well, it helped who? That's what I'm saying. Who does this all help? Why is the U.S. getting involved in the Middle East? Does it help us? No. I mean, maybe for oil. But as far as peace in the Middle East, it doesn't help us at all. Honestly, it makes us look like villains. But the real problem is that every time we go into the Middle East, it's on the directive of Israel. Israel said that Iraq was the enemy. Israel says that Iran is the enemy. Israel says now Lebanon is the enemy. It always does seem that Israel's calling out all these Islamic states, and then we attack them. Like, who are we? Their attack dogs? I hope not.
For what happened with Bashar al-Assad this weekend.
This is silly, though. This is totally silly. We can build a moat.
Hang on, Vinny. Let Andrew respond. I'll come to you, Vinny.
Okay.
Let Andrew respond first.
We can build a moat around the United States, absolutely, and we should be building a moat around the United States. The truth is, when you say, well, that won't prevent attacks on the United States like what happened in 9/11. No, that happened because we didn't build a moat around the United States, because we were busy doing nation building all over the world, especially during the Cold War. We helped fund most of these groups, one of which is about to take over, which includes Al-Qaeda, which were CIA assets. It's ridiculous for you to say, oh, no, we can't build a moat.
Oh, no. Let's not say that we funded Al-Qaeda.
We funded all of these groups. The CIA right now has boots on the ground in this nation.
We did.
And for you, and here's the thing, we can pretend that they're not there. We can pretend that we don't have the CIA all over.
Like, sweetheart, you could pretend like that's a surprise, but I'm pretty sure me and most everybody in this chat know that, yeah, we did fund those people. Like, yes, we did fund Al-Qaeda to go ahead and fight Russia. And then they turned against us. Hit us with 9/11 because of Israel. And now here we are cheering them on because of Syria and Assad. I mean, like, what's going on here? And make sure y'all like the video if you're feeling the content. Go ahead and double tap that screen for me or hit the 3 dots up there in the corner. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going. And super chat, any question, comments, or jokes you have, just $1 and up, help support the stream, and we'll go ahead and read it out loud for you. And also post it to the top of the chat. Like my man Zoloff.
The Middle East, we do. I guarantee you they're involved in this conflict right this second, and that'll probably come out in future documents 10 years down the road. The truth is that no, it is our foreign interventionism which causes most of the blowback, which then we get attacked for. It's mostly us doing foreign intervention, regime change, things like this,
Vinny, can I ask you a question?
Most of these
can I ask you a question? A legitimate question. If we take a step back, who do you think will fill that void? China? Russia? Who's going to fill that void? Because somebody's going to fill it. And it's not people who wish this nation well. And as I said earlier, the Pax Americana has largely kept peace. Yes, we've been at war, but the Pax Americana has largely kept peace across the world. We have avoided World War III.
They have
not. Been the indispensable nation since 1945.
Wars everywhere.
And if so, on whose expense?
What are you talking about?
It's ours, most definitely. But yeah, this whole Pax Americana, I remember Guest Dude speaks about it all the time. We do not practice that. We do not practice. The ideal is that we practice it, but we don't. And if my man Guest Dude was here, he'd be able to properly explain the whole theory of it to y'all. Actually, let me go see if I hit my man up.
Talking about what?
Of course, there were really.
If
the United States had not involved itself in the Cold War like you advised, what do you think would have happened to the rest of Europe?
Yeah, the Cold War.
What do you think that people in Western Europe would be living under right now?
The Cold War was an entirely different phenomenon, and a lot of that was due to the blowback of us backing up the Russians.
But I would say, okay, no, I would.
I'm weak. You call on my man, and he pulls up. Man, shout out Guest Dude. Now, Guest Dude, is she crazy for saying what she just did? Like the whole Maxa Americana. I'm like, hold on, Pax Americana. That's not at all what it's supposed to be.
Think about what?
Of course, there were really. If the United States had not involved itself in the Cold War like you advised, what do you think would have happened to the rest of Europe?
Yeah, the Cold War.
What do you think that people in Western Europe would be living under right now?
The Cold War was an entirely different phenomenon, and a lot of that was due to the blowback of us backing up the Russians.
But I would say, okay, no, I would say,
okay, so a lot of this again was foreign intervention, which caused this to begin with.
I would say this: that it's a Lebanese friend of mine messaged me last night, and he said, if you look at what happened in Iran with the Shah being overthrown, you look at Saddam Hussein.
And you know what I hate? Because every time I preach against the whole, oh yeah, we just need to cut off this foreign intervention, everybody want to give me the bleeding heart argument. Like, and I don't get it. It's like, oh, we should look out for them too. You never know what's going on. We should spread democracy and freedom everywhere. And I'm like, we can't. Some of these people got to come to this conclusion themselves. America, we came to it ourselves. Now these people got to come to it themselves. They got to come to a constitutional republic themselves. It can't just always be on us. But let's keep it going. All right.
Being taken
Pretty
out.
sure like the video.
Gaddafi being taken out in Libya, and you look at what's happened in Syria now, where he predicts a bloodbath. It's very hard to say that any of these countries were improved by the removal of the quote dictators, and that's part of the problem here, where it all sounds great in the moment, and I'm absolutely thrilled that Assad has gone. But who follows is a massively concerning thing for all of us. And I'm not sure America, given that it's still the number one superpower in the world, can actually afford, for its own national interest, never mind anything else, to just completely retreat from these things. I think they've over-engaged, but there's also, I think there has to be a compromise. For example, if I had been running...
I think we just need to go ahead and cut it off and let these people come to their own conclusions. And we'll work with them outside of that. As long as they don't F with us, it's all good. I mean, why do we care who runs their government? Why? Why do we care who runs their government if they have no qualms? They have no beef with us. They only got beef with us until we F with them. Other than that, they ain't got no beef with us. Bro, these guys can go through leaders cycling them through, but all of them still got to work with America all the same. And what are they going to do? Agitate us and risk getting what? Blown away? Exactly. So it's like we have, due to our military strength, we really have no reason to fear conflicts outside of us.
Running the United States, I would have said, rather than withdraw overnight in that catastrophic way from Afghanistan, keep a couple of thousand troops in Kabul. And it might have kept the Taliban in some form of box, which they just burst out of with that ridiculous series of events. And we've all seen what's happened. Taliban are taking complete control again, and women have been sent back to the dark ages. So sometimes just American...
I mean, what you mean? They were being forced to dress up again. They got kicked out of school. All because Joe Biden went to retreat and didn't foresee that the Taliban, one, were leaving them weapons so they can take back over. And two is well, why aren't we coming up with a more strategic, battle strategy for these people? And once again, to my point, let's be real. Why are we even interfering in their leadership? These people got to come to this on their own. We can't keep forcing this upon them. Their people got to want this on their own and stop being complicit about what their government put upon them. We wasn't. This is how we're all today. We got to let these people uprise on their own and find their own solutions, because I'm be real with you, an outside force can never fix what's inside.
Boots on the ground, even if they're not huge amounts of boots.
You could take that geopolitical and you could take that personally.
Can have a deterrent effect, I would argue. Vinny, I want to switch gears. I want to talk about pardons and this extraordinary situation where Joe Biden, having spent the year telling us that the rule of law means that no one can be above the law, then dramatically pardons his criminal son so he doesn't go to jail, and is now apparently considering widespread pardons for people who've not even been accused of any crimes. Well, they haven't been charged with any crimes. They've been accused of potentially committing them. And Trump has obviously seized on all this and was asked on Meet the Press about the January 6th protesters who've been jailed. And he said this.
I'm going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to be acting very quickly.
Within your first 100 days, first day?
First day.
First day.
Yeah, I'm looking first day.
Issue these pardons.
These people have been there. How long is it? 3 or 4 years?
Okay.
By the way, they've been in there for years, and they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open.
Now, Vinny, this is entirely predictable that Trump would say this and want to pardon a lot of the January 6th. He didn't say all of them. Clearly, he was trying to make some distinction between the categories, really, of people involved. But what is your view of this pardon process generally?
Bro, when people bring up this January 6th argument, it's do y'all understand that there were people that was in that protest that had honestly nothing to do with it? They just stood outside. They didn't even breach the Capitol and they went to jail. Now, the rioters who was kicking indoors and all that good stuff or breaking glass, great, lock their ass up. But there was literally people who were pulled from their homes who were just bystanders. People who were just in the crowd but didn't go in. They just stood back okay, I don't know what's going on here. So, yeah, there are people who had nothing to do with it who got punished. And that's a problem. It's not that we have a problem with some of these people getting arrested. It's that we have a problem that there was innocent people that was arrested. then that's just the point of it. And if you think those innocent people should be in jail just because they was at a protest, I mean, well, my question is, well, what the hell is wrong with you? And man, where's your argument on that?
President pardons people, but it does seem extraordinary that Biden, having banged on about the rule of law all year and weaponized the justice system, in my estimation, against Trump all year, is now effectively weaponizing it preemptively, where he's almost second guessing that people like Anthony Fauci or Liz Cheney or others may or may not have committed crimes. And so he gives them these blanket immunities, apparently, like he's given Hunter. That's the plan. Which seems to me to be an utter repudiation of the rule of law, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Piers, I agree 100%. And obviously the left is going to play the whole, song and dance of, oh, it's his son. It's a love for his son. They went back to 2014, Piers. And if you're going to preemptive, which I don't think has ever happened, preemptive pardon, you know what that means? They're guilty, Piers. They all had a hand in it. And Dr. Fauci, okay, if you
and if you don't know the full details of Hunter Biden's pardon, it's January 1st, 2024 to December. I'm sorry, January 1st, 2014 to January 1st. No, I think he said it was December. Oh yeah, I think he said December 1st, 2024. This is a 10-year span pardon for what he may or may not have done. For a 10-year span, he has a presidential pardon for anything that we find out about in his past. Anything. I mean, damn near anything. I mean, he could have murdered somebody. He's been pardoned for it at this point.
You guys, if any of you have read RFK's book, The Real Anthony Fauci, please read it, because everything that he said in there, if any of it was false, Piers, Joe Rogan's mentioned this, he would have been sued years ago. It shows exactly who that individual is. That person exactly. We, as Trump supporters.
And shout out RFK Jr. for writing that book, The Real Anthony Fauci, because if it was a lie, he would have got a defamation charge. I mean, you cannot write a book slandering somebody's name, an entire book, and sell it on the market and make money off it. On a complete lie and a slander piece is illegal. It is defamation. The fact that he did not get a defamation charge is telling.
Piers, and you know what? Everybody expects him to come in and be this guy and retro.
We got 200 plus of y'all in here, man. Go ahead and double tap that screen and like the video with the 3 dots up there in the corner. We appreciate the support. Any question, comments, or jokes you want to send in, just $1 and up. We'll go ahead and read it out loud and post it to the top of the chat, just like my man guest dude up there. Appreciate the support.
No, he isn't half as bad as what we want him to be. Like Hillary Clinton, he said he was nice. He didn't want to put her in jail. He had enough to put her in jail for a very, very long time for all of her crimes, and it's ridiculous. And you know what I did, Piers? I took a list. Guess how many? A list of all the pardons by all the presidents. Franklin D. Roosevelt did 3,687 pardons. Barack Obama did 1,927. Lyndon B. Johnson, 1887. Donald Trump, 237 pardons, Piers. And you know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous. We all know the deal. Nobody really talks about it on the left. We know exactly what it is. And you know what? If I was Donald Trump, why doesn't he have Don Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka just start doing crack cocaine, start doing drugs, videotaping themselves having sex, leave the freaking laptops at a repair store with all the damning evidence, the big guy, all the business dealings, all the money that they've made, and then in 4 more years, they'll all walk free. It's absolute hypocrisy, Piers, and it's ridiculous. We know the deal, and they're all protected.
Well,
and
I do know,
Dr. Fauci, that guy had Secret Service protection for the rest of his life. Our taxpayer dollars are protecting that little rat and all the lives that he's ruined. I have friends that are vaccine injured.
And that's the funny thing, because if he does pardon Fauci, I'm going to be like, okay, then he's guilty for gain of function research. Yes, he's guilty of trying to get animal viruses to latch on to human. Like, well, what's the word? I guess it's latch on to humans, right? So it's kind of funny how you say, and I don't even know what this is for, because the man was basically making bioweapons and he denied it and he got caught for it. And the funny thing is that I'm going to the allegedly. The allegedly he got caught for gain of function research. And if Biden pardons this man, then it's kind of true then. That means it's true, because why else would you pardon him if he didn't commit a crime? Like, why waste the pardon? And if I was Anthony Fauci and I was innocent, completely innocent, I would tell Biden to hold your pardon. Like, nah, I'll go in and take this man to court and make him look stupid.
Not that long COVID BS, Piers. Those people, if he freaking pardons that little rat, it's going to be one of the worst travesties in the history of this freaking country. That guy belongs in prison for the rest of his life.
And shout out my man Guest Dude. He says, for reference, the Pax Americana I talked about is tied to the Monroe Doctrine. The Pax Americana that Broad was talking about is the post-World War II CIA one. Oh, wow. So they got two of them. They got the one you were talking about, like I said, which is the real message. Then they got the propaganda wash one, the CIA wash one, that they push to us and make us think that, oh, yeah, we're all peace for America. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're for us stepping on every country trying to solve their problems at the risk of our own people.
Just to pick you up on your long COVID BS comment, I had long COVID for about 8 months, and it was extremely unpleasant. Lost my taste, my smell, and I would say about I'd say about 80% of my energy. No, after getting COVID.
Are you vaccinated, Piers?
I had the first two, yeah. I haven't had anything since. But I mean,
okay, that's what that comes from, Piers. That's
well, okay, look, I don't agree with that. But listen, I don't want to get into the whole COVID vaccine debate.
Can't say all that.
But I would say, Brian, it does seem extraordinary to me. I mean, my issue with Joe Biden pardoning his son is not that as a father, I don't understand why he wants to stop his son going to prison. It was the blatant lying by him and Karine Jean-Pierre from the White House podium, which I thought was so damaging to his legacy and to the reputation of his administration. To do that from the podium is such a brazen.
And we played that Jean-Pierre, we played her like addressing the people. And she got, I mean, I felt so bad for her because like like JD Vance says, I feel bad for the Democratic Party because y'all have to defend the indefensible. And that's what she was doing out there, defending the indefensible. They was like, well, damn, don't you think Biden owes the American people an apology? And what about you? Don't you think he owes you an apology for having you out here looking stupid? Like you came out here, said he wasn't going to do it. He said he wasn't going to do it. He did it. But instead of him talking about it, he got your ass out here talking about it, young lady. I would be upset.
An ongoing manner for months on end, and then to just do it anyway. But this development now, where they're almost second guessing that, as the Republicans were saying, I think a lot of sympathy for this, that they're saying, look, clearly the justice system was weaponized against Trump. They tried everything to put him in jail, and a lot of the people that work for him. So now Trump is suggesting that maybe we return the favor, as of course he was going to. Now, he did say, I don't want retribution. I think the best revenge is success, which is an old Frank Sinatra line, which I use in a column. I suspect that's where he got it. But I think that would be a very good strategy. Don't look back, look forward. However, the fact that Biden,
a great message,
may be moving to give people blanket immunity against any possible crimes they committed for many years, I think is outrageous. Don't you?
Daniel.
Piers, I think that if you're not looking at it in the context of why it's being done, then you're just ignoring reality here. The reason that Biden has to consider preemptive pardons for people like Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney is because Donald Trump is storming into office by assembling
No, because on the January 6th committee, Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney pretty much enforced innocent people to get arrested. And then they try to come up with the bogus charge of pretty much calling Donald Trump an insurrectionist. So, yeah, I mean, they probably should go to jail on the premise alone that innocent Americans went to jail. On that premise alone, Donald Trump, he'll be all right. But innocent people, come on now.
Justice Department and folks around him in the legal community who have promised to enact Donald Trump's retribution.
But what if they committed crimes?
He's doing it.
What
Let's
if
not
they
pretend that
committed
it's
crimes?
happening in a vacuum here.
Yeah, but Brian, what if they've committed crimes, genuinely, like Hunter? What if they have committed crimes?
If Adam Schiff has committed crimes, he hasn't. There's no suggestion that he has.
How do you know?
Because how do you know that he has? I mean, it's ridiculous. Why pardon him?
That's what I'm saying. Is like Adam Schiff should come out and be like, "Yo, President, don't pardon me. Let Trump come after me and let me make him look stupid." Like, there you go. But if they take the pardon, they don't say nothing about it, then it proves that they're complicit in something, that they've done something, that they're guilty of, well, what I'm alleging they're guilty of. I'm thinking, all right, it might be the whole January 6th thing. It could be deeper than that. You never know.
Because
why
Donald
pardon him if he hasn't committed crimes?
Because Donald Trump's FBI director is coming into office with an enemies list. Why wouldn't you?
Oh, you're saying they're going to manufacture crimes against Schiff? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that they're going to
Come on now.
manufacture crimes against Schiff? Does that even make sense to you?
If there were any crimes,
does that
if
even
there were
make sense to you?
done, then you're just ignoring reality here. The reason that Biden has to consider preemptive pardons for people like Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney is because Donald Trump is storming into office by assembling a Justice Department and folks around him in the legal community who have promised to enact Donald Trump's retribution.
But what if they've
That's
committed
why
crimes?
he's doing it.
What
Let's
if
not
they've
pretend that
committed
it's
crimes?
happening in a vacuum here.
Yeah, but Brian, what if they've committed crimes genuinely, like Hunter? What if they have committed crimes?
If Adam Schiff has committed crimes,
Yeah.
he hasn't. There's no suggestion that he has.
How do you know?
Because how do
Then
you
why
know that he
pardon him?
has?
Then why
It's
pardon him? Then
ridiculous.
why pardon him?
Why pardon him is because
why
Donald
pardon him
Trump
if he hasn't
will
committed
usher
crimes?
in because Donald Trump's FBI director is coming into office with an enemies list. Why wouldn't you?
Oh, you're saying they're going to manufacture crimes against Schiff? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that they're going to manufacture crimes against Schiff? Does that even make sense to you?
If there were any crimes,
does that even make sense to you?
If there were any crimes against Adam Schiff, then they would have brought them up at any point unto this point, but they haven't. And so
Then
Donald
why
Trump
pardon
knows
him?
that
Then why
because-
pardon him?
Yeah.
Then why?
Thank you. Then why pardon them? What's the point of pardoning somebody who's completely innocent? Like if you tell me like Biden must know what they've done, just like Biden knows what Hunter's done. Biden knows Hunter's committed a lot more felonies than what he's got caught up for. So he better go ahead and pardon him that 10 years. Anthony Fauci. I mean, let's be real. If Biden's pardon for Anthony Fauci starts at the beginning of COVID, that just answers everything right there. That answers everything right there. If it starts at the beginning or at least 2 months before COVID, that tells me everything I need to know about Anthony Fauci. I'm like, okay, look, we don't even need to make him guilty no more. We know what y'all on.
If there were any crimes against Adam Schiff, then they would have brought them up at any point unto this point, but they haven't. And so
Then
Donald
why
Trump
pardon him?
knows
Then
that
why
because-
pardon him?
Yeah.
Then why pardon him? Makes no sense. Your logic is totally flawed here. Makes no sense.
It's not flawed.
I
The
can
reason
answer
to
that
pardon
question.
him.
Okay, Julie, let me bring in Julie. If you can answer it, answer it.
Please.
I can answer that question because Donald Trump went and meet the press yesterday and said point blank that he thinks that the January 6th committee committed crimes. What crimes?
did.
I don't know. Maybe doing their due diligence. Stop. Maybe doing their due diligence
Well,
oversight.
we have got
And as
that clip.
members of
Let's play that. I'll
Congress,
tell you
they
what.
have. They have.
Let's
wait,
play
stop.
that. Julie, hang
They
on.
have immunity.
Hang on, Julie. I want to play the clip.
So the point here. Yes.
Let me play the clip again so we know exactly what you're talking about. We played it early. We'll play it again.
Okay.
This was a committee, a big deal. They lied. And what did they do? They deleted and destroyed a whole year and a half worth of testimony. Do you know that I think those people committed a major crime.
Sir.
And Cheney was behind it.
Well-
and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee.
We're going to,
For what they did,
yeah.
honestly, they should go to jail.
Yeah. So,
So
I
what
mean,
else
look.
is he talking about? That so there's
What you mean? Everybody, and that's the thing is like, it's either the Democrats just don't know or they're just being disingenuous. It's like, they hid evidence. They hid testimonies of people on the ground, of officers and all that pretty much prove that, well, some of the people that got up there shouldn't be up there. And also to prove that most of the lies that came out about January 6th are in fact lies, or most of the so-called mainstream media facts that came out about January 6th were lies.
no. So let's just preface this. None of that is true.
Mhm.
None of that is true.
How do you know
Just
out of
because he
interest?
says it doesn't make it true.
How do you know? How do you
How do
know?
I know? Because
How do you know?
I would assume that because his
Assumptions
lawyers
are a very
would have
dangerous
filed a
thing when it
motion.
comes to
His
fact
law-
gathering.
Are you
I'm answering your question.
saying that Donald
His
Trump's
lawyers
Justice
would have
Department is
filed-
going to manufacture evidence of crimes, or
I
aren't
am
you?
sa-
Because if
can
they're
I
not,
answer
you
the
have
question,
no
or do you wanna
reason to
keep
pardon.
No. I honestly think she got to answer that. She has to answer that. Do you think that Donald Trump will manufacture like crimes? Do you think they're going to make a case up like they did with him? Because if that's your argument, then okay, I see where y'all going with this. But isn't that kind of the pot calling the kettle black? And well, they don't know that.
Up to
These
me.
people.
Do you
Well,
want-
you're
do
not
you
really
want me to
answering the
keep talking?
question. You're going on a
Okay.
diatribe.
Well, you're not letting me answer. You're not letting me answer the question.
Answer, but be
Do I
concise.
believe
I
that
actually
he
want to
just-
hear it.
I'm weak.
Okay. Well, actually, thank you so much for telling me how to speak. I
You're welcome.
think
Epic mansplain.
that Donald Trump just sent a very big message to Pam Bondi as to what he expects. And he expects her to start and to Kash Patel to start investigating these people. Whether they get indicted or not, it doesn't matter. It is expensive, it is consuming, and it becomes a huge pain in the you-know-what to be investigated by the federal authorities. And that is the message that he is sending.
Like the Russian collusion.
He knows full well that there is nothing that's been destroyed, because had it been destroyed, his lawyers would have filed a motion.
Yeah, but Julie, I would say to you,
they were not in a position where they could investigate.
Hang on.
But here's the thing, though. If I would ask her this, if Biden gives out a pardon to these people, wouldn't that kind of make them complicit in something? Like, why would I waste a pardon on somebody who's innocent? What would be the point? If you were never convicted or you're innocent, why am I wasting a pardon on you? It only makes sense that he knows they're guilty, or the Biden administration knows these people are guilty.
Hang on.
They were not in a position to do that.
I would say to Julie, look, when you weaponize the justice system of the United States of America against a president of the United States,
which I did,
first ever criminal court case we've ever seen involving a president, and it's about shuffling some paperwork over an alleged one-night stand he denies with a porn star 18 years ago. When you render the justice system to be such a politically motivated farce, and most Americans actually thought that, when you do that as an administration, when you allow that to happen, you open up a whole can of worms. You've done it first. You've gone after this guy. You've tried everything you could, however petty, trivial, ridiculous,
now
to try and put him in jail. And when it doesn't work and it actually backfires and it fuels him and he ends up winning big.
So you're talking about a state. So you're talking about
Piers,
you're talking about a state. You're talking about a state charge that has nothing to do with Joe Biden. If you're talking about the federal investigation,
I mean, the trumped up charges, you know, the misdemeanors that y'all turn felonies. Yes, the abuse of the justice system that y'all committed on Donald Trump. Like, let's be real. Like, everybody sees that for what it is. And if Democrats want to argue fairly, then I'm just like, well, of course y'all running scared. And of course Biden is out here handing out pardons, because they know what they did. They know what they did. And they know that they committed crimes just to try to get this man locked up. They know they committed crimes just to try to get Trump supporters locked up. And the only thing to do is now just let out pardons. And, well, I'm gonna be real with you. Even if they let out pardons, it's kind of dooming these people to public opinion. I'm gonna be real with you. Anthony Fauci might as well give up being a doctor, because if you're pardoned, you've been now convicted by the people of gain of function research. You may not go to jail, but the people will never trust you again. Same with Liz Cheney and, well, I mean, Hunter Biden. Come on now, we never trusted the man in the first place, nor did we ever have a reason to trust him.
Yeah, but Democrat-motivated prosecutors who were doing their master's lead, right?
I don't know who you're talking about. If you're talking about the Justice Department, over which Donald Trump will have authority by appointing an attorney general, I am telling you that what the Justice Department under Joe Biden was investigating is the fact that Donald Trump refused to return classified information that he stored in his bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. It is the fact that he incited a violent riot that effectively harmed and hurt our transfer of power for the first time in our nation's history.
Well, hold on. They dropped the documents case because, like, yeah, he was vowed to have those as president. And there's been other presidents who've had secret documents at their house after presidency. I mean, Bill Clinton had a secret recording of him and a world leader talking very important topics, things that would low-key hurt our national security, and he had it. He had it at home, just chilling. So if we can't get mad at, because Biden's done it and he wasn't even president, and we can't get mad at Bill Clinton, then who the hell are we to get mad at Trump?
No, convicting him of all these crimes, which he's not being convicted of.
I'm not
None of them.
The only thing he's being convicted of is shuffling paperwork with a porn star. And let me rephrase. Hang on. Let me rephrase what I say. I'm talking about weaponizing the justice system. Let's make it a more all-encompassing thing, where you have Democrat slanted prosecutors who just want to jail Trump, even if it's down for shuffling paperwork over a porn star. To me, it was utterly ridiculous, that case. And the idea that you then criminally convict...
I don't disagree with that.
Well, right. So my point is, I don't think anyone disagrees with it, really. So here's my point, is that as a Democrat, when you look at this, what's happening now, why wouldn't Trump do this? I mean, he's perfectly entitled to return the favor, isn't he? All's fair in love and politics.
To do what? To do what? Because
to be equally as aggressive.
He has specific crimes with which he was charged. What are the specific crimes with which you want to charge Liz Cheney? That she stood up to Donald Trump?
Well, that's not the point. That's not the point. Hang on, that's not the point.
As a congressperson?
No, but Julie, the point is, we don't know, because what is being mooted is that there are going to be blanket immunities against any crime that may have been committed, which does, I'm afraid, prompt the question, what are they hiding? Why are you so scared?
Exactly.
If there's literally nothing.
This was just about those 2 charges. Let it be about that. But the fact that he did a 10-year pardon, which I'm gonna be real with you, I ain't never heard before. Because to pardon somebody for a 10-year span, so that means no matter what we find out, we can't charge him on, is a bit unfair. Like even on the terms of a pardon.
There.
Well, first
if
of
none
all,
of
they're
them
not
did
taking
anything
them.
wrong,
Do you see Liz Cheney
why do
accepting
you
it?
need blanket immunity?
Because you have a Justice Department that was just told in very clear terms by Donald Trump to the people that he's putting in there, whom he considers to be his loyalists, that he believes that these people committed crimes by investigating him. That is what they're looking into. Not that they might have smoked pot back in 1974 in college.
Why would you need a pardon
Not that they
for
might
that,
have
though?
driven drunk in 1983. For what?
Yeah, but why would you need a
Why do you
pardon
need a
for that? It
pardon?
makes no sense. So
Because-
if Trump,
because-
even if
because
Trump is
nobody
investing,
wants to
hang on.
go-
Let me ask the question. Even if it were the
And we got 300 plus of y'all in here, man. Go ahead and double tap that screen and like the video. Hit the 3 dots up there. We appreciate the support, man. Let's have a good stream.
case that Trump wanted to open an investigation as to whether or not there was
good,
foul
CN?
play during the previous administration's investigations of him, why in the world would this require a pardon to these people? That makes no sense to me at all.
Because why do these
would there be
people
a requirement
need to,
of a
because
pardon?
why do these people need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees on dealing with BS, which is part of their oversight duties to have
We
done.
don't know
They
if
were
it's
members
BS.
of
We haven't
Congress. They
investigated
have
it yet. What are you
immunity to
talking
do
about?
this. We
So we just can't investigate
excuse me,
anybody
we do
because
know
there
it's
could
BS
it could be
because
bad.
It is part of their.
No, we don't know.
It is part. Listen, do you understand how it works? Have you ever worked on the Hill? Because I can tell you, they have immunity as senators and Congress people to do their oversight responsibilities. There is
Well, I thought you just said
literally
a second
laws
ago
in the
that there's going to be
United
hundreds
States-
of thousands of dollars in legal fees. Now you're backtracking
because
on that?
of course you'll have to go because you're going to have to go hire lawyers to be able to prove that this was part of their
Well, I
oversight
thought you just said they had
duties.
immunity.
Do you
Like
think
you
these
can't have
people
it
want-
both ways here.
Jesus, do you understand how this works?
Yeah.
You have to get a lawyer
trying
to go
to.
to
I'm
court
trying-
to tell a judge
Okay, so then
all of this.
so they don't
you
have
obviously
immunity?
don't understand how it works. You obviously don't. I'm sorry. Do you not understand what I'm getting?
No, he's kind of cutting up your logic right now. Like, lady, you're not making sense. You're not making sense because you're literally trying to have it both ways.
Here specifically
Julie,
because you're
No, I
you're
don't
almost like a
understand
peer.
why these people
Julie-
need to have a pardon because they might be investigated for potential crimes they may have committed.
Can I
and
tell you
say they have
something?
nothing to worry
Can
about
I tell you
because there were
something?
no
What are the-
crimes.
what are the
then why do you need the
crimes?
pardon? It makes
They
no
have-
sense.
No, but hey, Brian, hang on.
And you-
Again, don't all talk at once, please. Brian, you say, what are the crimes? That's the point. We don't know, and we may
But you're
never
just
know.
you're looking for crimes because Donald Trump is
We're
looking.
not looking for crimes. Nobody was looking for crimes. That's the part of the argument y'all are missing. We're not looking for crimes. We're just wondering, why is he handing out blanket pardons? Like, why are you handing out pardons that's good for 10 years? I mean, that's good for a 10-year span. That doesn't make sense unless you're covering for crimes. That's the argument. We're not trying to say they did anything. We're not trying to say nothing like that. We're just trying to say if Biden hands out a pardon to Liz Cheney or Fauci or Andrew Fauci, then it's gonna make it look like they're just as guilty as Hunter Biden.
Looking for crimes because he doesn't like Liz Cheney and the fact that she did.
No, he
oversight.
genuinely
But to
believes she's
Julie's
broken.
exact point,
He
to
genuinely
Julie-
believes
here's the
she's
point.
committed crimes.
Here's the point. To Julie's
crime?
exact point, first of all, what crimes? Second of all, it costs money to get legal representation to go prove all of this
Good.
stuff. And third of all, it's moot. It's moot because all of these people have immunity anyway. You are allowed to act in your oversight capacity in Congress and the Senate to pass legislation to discuss
You
this
can't
stuff.
break
You
the
didn't
law.
care when Trump had to spend on lawyers. You didn't
But
care
what
about
law
that.
was broken? Yeah, you're
Ah.
right. They can't break the law, but there was no
So that's
law
the
that was
point.
broken. But it doesn't change the fact.
Bro, we don't. That's the problem. Is that y'all don't understand? We don't know. That's the problem. Okay, cool. If there was no law broken, then Anthony Fauci, Liz Cheney should come out in the next 2 days, 3 days, who cares? But before Biden pardons them and says, we don't want that pardon because I'd rather them try to prove it. I'm innocent. I know I'm innocent. So I don't need that damn pardon. You're going to come and bring it to me, and I'm going to make you look like an idiot. That would have been, if I was an innocent man, then yeah, that's what I'd be on. But if I'm guilty, I'm over here going like, woo, my man Biden. Woo, boy, that boy done saved us all, man. He done saved us all. I thought I was going to go to jail, guys. Biden done hit us with a blanket pardon.
So why do you need an all-encompassing immunity if you've never broken the law?
Why do you need an all-encompassing immunity if there's no laws?
I don't know.
I don't
Right,
know.
let me bring in Vinny.
I don't know if you guys are playing dumb or not, but the fact is,
I don't think it's us playing dumb, Brian.
It costs money to go forward with this.
Okay, no, I'm actually playing devil's advocate. But I'll tell you what, look, hang on, I'm going to bring Vinny in, but I am playing devil's advocate here because I do think there's a shocking hypocrisy by the Democrats, led by Joe Biden. The whole year they banged on about the rule of law. No one's above the rule of law. And here is President Biden in his last few weeks basically riding roughshod over the rule of law to bail out all his family and all his mates.
That it's happening in a vacuum. Piers, you're pretending that it's happening in a vacuum. No, I'm not, because Donald Trump has come out and said that he's going to use...
I'm saying you reap what you sow, though. You reap what you sow.
But Donald Trump has promised to use his...
Hey, man, shout out Hellbat. He says, if you like Imagine Dragons, play Bones. Plus, hi, all. Hey, man, what's good with you, Hellbat? Appreciate you for pulling up, my man.
Justice Department.
Oh, yeah, and help us get the 50 super chats. So we'll go ahead and open up the call line and get some of y'all in here so we can go ahead and talk about this.
As a vehicle to enact his personal retribution toward. That is why it's happening.
All right,
by pretending that there's
good.
Brian,
good.
But Brian,
let me bring in
you're
Vinny.
saying good for Brian. Good, because we want Brian. Good for him. If they did illegal shit, then go to jail. You guys are talking all that crap, and you're warning what Trump is going to do to what Biden and his DOJ has done this entire 4 years. Are you not seeing it? And
what
if
did
you think
they
you
do?
just feel bad because
what
they're going to have to spend money, excuse me.
What did they do? Do you think Donald Trump? Do you think Donald Trump should have stored these documents in Mar-a-Lago?
For them, Julie, spending money on lawyers. How much money have they gutted out of Donald Trump? How many people have suffered for that fake-ass crossfire hurricane?
Zero, because he had his campaign paid for everything. Zero,
Russia
because people like you sent money into
Hillary
him.
got fined. DNC got fined. You're not going to talk over me. Let me finish.
Woo.
Thank you. And your whole, he incited an insurrection. It's all bullshit. There was no insurrection. He said, go quiet, go peaceful.
And it wasn't an insurrection. It was a protest turn riot. I'm always going to stand on that because you're not going to sit here and call January 6th insurrection and not call BLM an insurrection as well. Like, you're not going to sit here and hit us with that. Like, come on now, cut the BS, because we're not going to sit here and pretend like, one, there was way more damage done in the BLM riots than January 6th. And we're talking about the public property and government property, both. Like, we're talking about a riot that lasted, 8 hours at most? But then we're talking about riots that happen across the country? Like, what? Cop cars getting vandalized and all that good stuff, and that's not an insurrection? Okay, come on now. If we're going to go ahead and call BLM riots a riot, then January 6th riots were definitely a riot as well. And I'm going to stand on that point. Prove me wrong.
Don't hurt anybody. It got out of hand, but the FBI can't even answer. How many FBI agents were on the ground? Ted Cruz asked her in Congress. How many of them incited violence? It's all fake.
Like
Nobody got arrested for
If we're going to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, there's no point in even talking about this because it's like one person is saying that the earth is round and somebody else is saying the earth is flat. You're a flat earther, and there's no point in debating.
All right,
it doesn't fit your narrative.
You're a flat earther.
Although I would say, Julie, hang on. I would say, Julie, if we're going to go down conspiracy routes, I do remember a 2-year conspiracy being peddled by almost everyone in the American media that Trump had the election fixed by his collusion with Vladimir Putin, which turned out to be horseshit.
That's right.
So, it does depend which conspiracy theory you want to hitch
Is that in relation to Robert Mueller's investigation?
I don't recall ever saying that Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump colluded to steal the election. So let's not say that everybody
a lot of people did.
I will say to you,
and the media did fuel that bullshit for 2 years.
Okay, but you're asking me to debate. But Piers, you're asking right now for me to debate somebody who thinks that January 6th was a peaceful protest that got out of hand because the.
And shout out my man CN coming in with a baller alert, the $20. And I got you, dog. All right, we can go ahead and do conspiracy hour about the last hour of the show. So that means it's going to be around at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. we'll go ahead and pop off with conspiracy hour, big dog. Appreciate you, seeing.
The FBI set up these poor MAGA people to go beat up cops.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, if we're going to have that kind of conversation, if we're going to have that kind of conversation, stop screaming in my ear, please. If we're going to have that kind of conversation,
why did Nancy Pelosi turn down National Guard?
The earth is flat.
Why did they not want the National Guard there?
Just for the record,
why did Stephen Son, the chief of Capitol Police,
National
say
Guard,
that they were requesting help, and she denied it? She's on camera. You're delusional. Okay.
If you're
No. She is on camera. She's on camera. Nancy Pelosi, we're talking about her. Nancy Pelosi is on camera pretty much saying that, oh, that's my F up. I was supposed to send the National Guard. These people have been protesting the election since October. Since October, they've been protesting the election. And January 6th, they knew it was going to be the same protest, but except at the Capitol. They knew this. They knew it was going to happen, but yet they did not bring any more Capitol Police, did not bring the National Guard. They let it happen, allegedly.
Hang on.
I'm not interested.
Hang on. I actually thought the most interesting point that Trump made in relation to all that was the different double standard. I thought what happened on January 6th was appalling. And I think that a lot of people behaved extremely badly, and a lot of them should have gone to prison, which they did. I think maybe it was overdone, and some of them got ridiculously long sentences. But I thought the point that Trump made about the hypocrisy and double standard of how, for example, the BLM rioters were treated with the devastating damage that they caused.
And Mr. Doc Hill says, lefties losing it next. I got you, man. I got you.
I thought it was a very good point. And I think, again, it comes back to the hypocrisy, right? Democrats cheered on the BLM rioters. That was all in the cause of tackling racism. But here you have people who believe they were standing up for democracy. I don't agree that they were right. They shouldn't have been doing it. But there was a double. Julie, hang on, Julie. There was a double standard. There was a double standard in how the different types of protesters got treated. There was.
Piers, if you're suggesting...
Bro, the BLM low-key got bailed out by celebrities. The BLM rioters, those who were convicted of crimes of hurting people and vandalizing property, got bailed out not only by celebrities, but by statesmen, but by government officials. Yeah. Like, where was that love for January 6th? Oh, I get it now. It's because that the left does it. Oh, is this regressive tolerance that the left practice? Where if it's a leftist ideology, it's all accepted, but let it be a right-leaning ideology. Let it be conservative. Then it's completely shunned.
That Democrats cheered on BLM rioters?
No.
They gave them entire cities to destroy.
What?
They gave them whole cities to destroy.
Crazies on the left cheered on BLM rioters, and you're saying the Democratic Party cheered them on?
Yes.
Really? You're saying that Nancy Pelosi cheered on people who were rioting and looting during Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
They were saying it was a peaceful protest.
Show me.
You're delusional.
Show me where Nancy Pelosi at the time was saying that. Show me where Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or Kamala Harris or anybody else was saying that.
Too busy getting on her knees.
You know what we need now? We need a group handshake, and which takes me neatly to the Donald Trump Macron loving at the Notre Dame reopening. Which, by the way, let's just take a moment to salute the French, who have got a lot of issues right now. But the way
let's take a moment to look at this world leader bromance.
They rebuilt Notre Dame. I was there a few months after the fire. I thought it would take 20 years. The fact they've got it back even better than before in 5 years is an amazing feat. I can only compare it that in London, one of our great bridges, Hammersmith Bridge, stopped having cars over it in the same year, 2019, because of cracks in the bridge. And today, it's now at least another 5 years before that bridge will be fixed, which means a minimum of 10 years. They rebuilt Notre Dame in France.
And shout out Hellbat. He says, one is many, the other is few. Gets covered, the other doesn't. One burns an entire city with no consequences. The other gets charged 20 years for being there. Yeah, that's January 6th in a nutshell. I mean, we're talking about mass violence, mass looting. I mean, bro, they was even trying to loot after the BLM riots. Loot after it. At a certain point, they started making laws where it's not considered stealing unless it's $900 or more. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Stealing if it's a 1 cent. You stole it. You stole it, goddammit. And shout out, man. Yes, we said, man, this broad glows. She's 100% CIA. Yeah, I can. Yeah, because she's really spouting that CIA propaganda. But it is what it is. She probably don't even know it. They don't even know it most of the time.
And we couldn't get a bridge with cracks in it fixed in 10 years. I think it's embarrassing for my country. Anyway, that's nothing to do with what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to show a mashup of Trump and Macron.
It's beautiful, bro, man. And make sure to like the video, man. We got 200 y'all in here, man. So please double tap that screen for me. Hit the 3 dots up there in the corner. Appreciate the support, guys. And like I said, if we can get the 50 super chats, we'll go ahead and open in that call-in line. We'll have a good amount of y'all up in here. You know, this guy is married to his unallegedly married to a transsexual. I'm talking about Emmanuel Macron and the whole Bridget Macron thing, where, you know, Bridget Macron can't provide proof that she's a woman. So I guess it does make sense that he's all broed up with Trump like this. Hey, this is wild, but it's cute.
Now, Brian, it is, I mean, it's very funny on one level, the way they arm wrestle for hours on end when they see each other. However, my point watching it, when I watched Trump go into Notre Dame, every eye was on him. He has superstar power. I saw it myself when he first got elected in Davos, when all the world leaders were down there. The moment Trump came in, it was pandemonium. He is the biggest star on the world stage by a country mile. And there's something about America right now getting its swagger back, which I can tell you in a country like mine, where it feels like the opposite is happening, a lot of people are like, you know what, whatever you think of Trump, whatever comes out of his mouth, all the usual stuff, I quite like the confidence that America now seems to be exuding. And I wish we had a bit of it here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Pierce, I think if you look at what the rest of the world actually thinks about Donald Trump, the vast majority of them don't view him as some gauzy figure with a lot of swagger. I mean, he has.
No, it's very different now.
Negative. He has negative approval.
It's very different to 2016. I can tell you.
Negative approval in the rest of the world. Come on, bro. Stop lying, bro. There's been plenty of countries who celebrated our election that Donald Trump is won. There's been plenty of world leaders who pretty much say, yo, we need Trump so the world can get back in order. Plenty. And besides, we got 76 million people who could pretty much say, who could argue the point.
It has definitely changed. I don't agree with that reading of it. I've spoken to a few senior politicians in various countries, and they've learned to deal with Trump and accept what he is, good, bad, and ugly. And there is a respect for the leadership that he shows.
I love it.
I mean, if you try and think about Kamala Harris and the kind of leadership she exuded, there's just no comparison. You look at Biden;
this is complete.
Biden can't even stay awake.
This is bizarre analysis. But this is bizarre analysis. This is what you think about Kamala Harris and conversations that you've had with like 2 or 3 people. This doesn't reflect the vast majority of the world, and all of the actual data that we have from the rest of the world in terms of their views on Donald Trump shows the exact opposite.
Okay, let me bring in Andrew on that. I think America has its swagger back. Now, Trump has to deliver, and he knows that. I spoke to him last week, and he knows the challenge ahead of him, but he also knows he's got a chance to really reset his legacy and become a transformative and potentially great president. I think he's got a great chance to do that. It'll be down to him and his team, but I do think that. But I do just think when I watched him in Notre Dame, I was like, you know, he's back and he's swaggering, and America looks like it's got someone in charge who actually does want to make America great again, and people are feeling it.
Yeah, well, I mean, just listen to the analysis.
All of the wars that America kind of incites, all the conflicts we incite, I'm pretty sure all the world leaders are going like, thank God we got somebody who's anti-war. Even Russia, I mean, like, let's be real. Yeah, y'all already think he's a Russian collusionist, so I don't even care about saying this. Even Russia's sitting there like, thank God, because this man Biden wants a war with Russia. This man Trump don't want war with nobody, including Russia. I like it. But it is crazy. And it's crazy how people hit me with this because I want peace, because I don't want no wars. I'm a Russia collusion and shit. Y'all know that? Y'all know that because I want peace, or because you want peace and you don't want our soldiers going out there and dying on a battlefield, you know, that, and not even protecting our country for it, because we don't want that happening. We are now Russia collusionists. We are now Russian propaganda. Welcome to the team, guys.
This is from the Lib on the panel. He says, He says immediately, well, yeah, how could he come up with such an analysis based on only talking to 2 or 3 people when the whole world hates this guy? Like he's talked to the whole world, right? Suddenly, Piers Morgan's anecdotal evidence isn't good, but his is. He's talked to nobody.
It's not my anecdotal. It's
hang on, man. Hang on. It's not your turn. It's not your turn, Lib. Calm down, Lib. So anyway, listen. It's very, very clear to me. It's very stop.
I don't know how you think.
Let me get it out. Can I get it out? Can I get it out before you start?
Go ahead. Hear yourself talk. Go ahead.
So anyway, I'm trying to. You're still talking. So anyway, the point is like, no, of course, there's a lot of swagger to Donald Trump. The American people know that. That's why they overwhelmingly voted for the guy. That's why he got the popular vote. That's why he's winning across the board. People overwhelmingly across the globe do actually love this guy. They like watching him. They like listening to him talk. They like hearing his speeches. They enjoy this guy. When you say America's got a swagger back, that's exactly right. Donald Trump represents the don't F with us, America first policy that America has been known in the past for, and that we all wanted back.
Julie, I mean, look, I know you've been quite critical of the way the Democrats have conducted their politics this year, but the Democrats desperately need somebody that can have the same effect, galvanizing, energizing effect and unifying effect on the party that Trump's had with the Republicans, given the scale of his win. I mean, it's an utter repudiation of so many things that Democrats thought they had the lead in, and you can't deny it. I mean, the scale of the win is what it is.
Well, let's not go crazy. The scale of his win was actually smaller than Joe Biden's.
Well, hang on. He won the popular vote. If I said he'd win the popular vote,
if I said 6 months ago,
if I said 6 months ago, Trump, if I had said to you 6 months ago, Trump will win the popular vote, you'd have laughed in my face. He won the popular vote, the Electoral College, the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives.
I would have said
he won all 5. I mean, if you can't call that a massive win, what is it?
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't even see Trump winning the popular vote. I seen the man winning the electoral for sure. I wasn't even concerned about the popular vote because, well, the Dems usually win it. I wasn't even concerned about that because they got dominion over the highly populated cities. So I wasn't worried about popular vote at all. So the fact that we did win that was a complete surprise for me because the electoral vote, I had a good suspicion that was going to be our dub. But to get the popular vote as well, I was like, oh, yeah, this is a super dub. I mean, y'all got blown out the water. I mean, 300 electoral votes plus, and we win the popular vote. Yeah, that's a harsh L right there. I mean, Jesus. And that's I mean, damn, man, bro. Trump, bro, when it comes to keeping women out of office, Trump is just number one. When it comes to keeping psychopathic, war-hungry women out the office, Trump is number one. But then when that non-war hungry, pro-American woman wants to be president, trust me, we'll be right there to salute her in. Trust me. So it's not about us hating female leadership. It's about us hating that female leadership.
It's like a mandate to me.
Democrats did not royally. Well, can I speak or do you want to keep interrupting, Flat Earther? Listen, here's the way I look at it. Democrats screwed up. Democrats don't know how to communicate. I've been banging the drum on this since 2015, if not earlier, since Trump came down the escalator. He's a master communicator to his base, and Democrats don't know how to speak to normal people. We always speak and we lecture like we're from the podium at Harvard Law School. So you won't get an argument from me. I will tell you that whether it's Macron or anybody in your government, Piers, or Vladimir Putin or anybody else, they have psychological profiles on Donald Trump, like we do in all other world leaders as well. And they understand exactly how to get what they want out of Donald Trump, and they know the flattery will get you everywhere with Donald Trump.
See, and I would argue her point. I'm like, sweetheart, isn't world leaders already getting what they want out of Biden? I mean, look at Japan. We owe a debt to Japan, and yet we protect them for free, and they don't want to take nothing off our debt. I mean, look at trade deals, look at all the trade deals that we're in where it negatively affects us. We are in a deficit trade deal with 80% of the world, maybe more. So, yeah, I would actually look upon those numbers before making those type of statements, to be honest.
Like we do in all other world leaders as well. And they understand exactly how to get what they want.
So, yeah, on that argument, on that premise alone, world leaders have been taking advantage of, well, I'm going to be real with you, Bush, Obama, and Biden. Oh, Bush, Obama, Biden. Huh, weird, a little tongue. Bush, Obama, Biden. But yes, Bush, Obama, Biden were the 3 presidents that got taken advantage of by world leaders. Trump is the first president that got these world leaders honestly bending the knee. got them bending the knee to us instead of us bending over for them.
Out of Donald Trump, and they know.
And shout out Hellbat, man. He said, I still find it funny that most of the states Kamala won, they didn't require state ID. Why is that the case, I wonder? Man, because they knew the plan. They knew the plan was to flood some of these states with immigrants, and immigrants were going to vote because they didn't need no voter ID, and they were going to try to win it like that.
The flattery will get you everywhere with Donald Trump. All will be forgiven if you flatter him. Macron knows that well. That's why he engages the way he engages with him. That's why Putin engages the way he engages with him. That's why half of the people, like his own vice president, who thought he was basically the second coming of Adolf Hitler, and I'm not paraphrasing here, now know that if they bend the knee and if they flatter him, that all will be forgiven, and he will listen to them and he will take them into his confidence. And if you're Macron and you're in a country that is very dependent on Americans' NATO umbrella, if you're in a country that is trying to hold the EU together, if you're trying to hold a Western alliance together against an encroaching, newly aggressive Vladimir Putin, or maybe not so newly aggressive, you understand that the way to Trump's heart is to invite him to Notre Dame, to give him a seat pretty much next to Prince William or wherever he was sitting, and to make him the star of the show, because that is what Trump wants to do and wants to be. So,
or you're doing that so you can be in his good graces, so he doesn't completely wipe you out with tariffs or pretty much pull out of NATO and making y'all fit one of the bill. There's a lot of reasons to, pretty much kiss up to Trump. That and literally being the leader of the free world. That's also a damn good reason to kiss up to the guy. So being the strongest country in the world, having the strongest economy that most of these people needs to low-key survive, they need to sell into our economy. I mean, that's a lot of reasons to go kiss ass. Let's not blame these people. Let's not just say that, oh, they're trying to control Donald Trump by kissing his ass. No, they're trying to make sure Donald Trump, low-key doesn't decimate them. Let's be real. When he was talking about France, when they was double taxing our products, yeah, they did that. We've had unfair trade deals with France. So I can see him being over there shaking hands with the man going you ain't going to do that again now, are you? Because you do it again, it ain't going to be too friendly for you.
So this is not a surprise to me. It's a smart move by Macron to do that. It's a smart move by Xi to do that in China. And look, he all of a sudden went from threatening to nuke North Korea to becoming best friends with the North Koreans because the leader of North Korea decided to flatter him.
And what did North Korea? Okay, but what did North Korea, China, or Russia do on Trump's watch in his first 4 years?
What did North Korea?
Nothing.
What did they do on Trump's watch?
What did they do?
Are you suggesting? Well, they didn't need to do anything.
I'm just saying. You're
Trump
saying his technique of actually having civil relations with these people is wrong and
North Korea,
damaging.
North Korea developed.
Where's the evidence it didn't work?
And shout out Seth. She says, need to ask chat. Prayers for Tim for strength and healing. Yeah, I was looking at a little bit. Yes, Tim, please. We do hope you do get better. Prayers going out to my man, Tim. We do hope everything works out with you, my friend, because I was looking a little bit and it does seem like it's a little bit serious. So we will keep you in our prayers.
North Korea continued to develop missiles. China continued to develop its military
they did that under Biden.
for potential attack on Taiwan.
That was very sweet of you, Seth.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? They've all carried on doing exactly the same under Biden. You have the complete opposite way. It says they're all enemies. Let me bring in Vinny.
But you're suggesting...
Go on. Go on, Julie.
Yeah.